Am I going out there today thinking, oh, God, I got to catch them? No, look at the guys behind me. I know they're going to catch them. I didn't have a really good practice. I'm going to go out there with a fresh mind and just go fishing and have fun. That's what I've done every day this year. If it happens, great. Now, is it a big deal? Absolutely. To me, it's the greatest title in all fishing.
The table is set for a bang-up finish at Table Rock. This is where you close the deal on Toyota Rookie of the Year and Horizon Awards. Grab those last points to make the Elite 50 and extend your season. Make the Classic, or 2 Classics. And probably the centerpiece, the Citgo Angler of the Year Award, is to be decided here. For the most consistent angler through the season, and maybe second only to winning the Classic. It's one of the hardest things to achieve in fishing, and naturally, protecting a lead in the race is stressful. The leader coming into Table Rock is Marty Stone, and he knows he's got to perform or it slips away.
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail.
Well, this is it. Final stop on the 2005 Citgo Bassmaster Tour. So much to be settled here on Table Rock Lake, right on the border between Arkansas and Missouri, situated on the White River along with Beaver Lake, Bull Shoals Lake, Taneycomo, and more. All 67 miles of Table Rock Lake, and everything is primed for a fantastic 4-day final event in the regular season. Again, the man coming in, the Citgo Angler of the Year points lead, Marty Stone of North Carolina, grabbed the lead in North Carolina at our last stop on Lake Norman. Marty Stone knows he's got to perform on day one if he wants to stay in the thick of this race. So many guys are still in contention for the Angler of the Year title. You've got to catch your limit on day one. You've got to keep things going. Big crowd on hand for the day one weigh-in, and there you go. Marty Stone, the 2 big smallmouth right there. Marty Stone will finish in 22nd place. That's good enough to hang on to that Citgo Angler of the Year lead. Another big hitter. Take a look at Kevin Van Dant on day one. Talk about the big smallmouth, and the man who is wrapping up his season in a big way, Greg Hackney.
It's just worked out in practice and in the tournament today that I'm catching more smallmouth than I am anything else. I don't understand it because I'm not a smallmouth fisherman, but, you know, I'll take a good blessing when I get one.
But the big bag of them all, a man from just up the road at the Lake of the Ozarks, Big Dion Hibden, had the big hit on day one.
23 pounds, 5 ounces, and Dion Hibden moves to the top of the food chain.
Well, that's our leader in the tournament here on Table Rock, Dion Hibden. But you got to remember, there's 148 boats out there milling around, getting ready to go. We've just finished 1 day of competition. We got a whole nother day with a full field, and that means basically there are 148 places where you can move up or down, and so many races yet to be decided. The Toyota Rookie of the Year and Horizon Awards. We got not 1 but 2 classics that are yet to be decided until today is over, and that all-important Citgo Angler of the Year prize. Now, Marty Stone came in here with the lead, but he knows, Jerry McInnes, as well as everyone else, that he can't count on anything until today is done.
Yeah, Tommy, there must be 30 or 40 of these anglers on some kind of a bubble or another. Marty Stone is not on a bubble. He is, you may be on the hot seat, but you're not on the bubble ride. Hey, Marty, how many days have you fished in your life? 2,000, 4,000, 6,000? What would be your guess?
You know, I'd push it closer to at least to 4, 6, some maybe 8, a lot. You know, I spend about 225 days a year on the water.
They were all days working up to this day, right? This is the most important fishing day of your life, am I right?
You know, I'm not going to deny it. I've tried not to make a big deal out of it, but we've accomplished a lot of goals. With my little catch yesterday, I've made the Classic. I've probably made 2 Classics. I've made the E50s, and that was an ultimate goal of mine. And now I've got 1 more day, and I'm going to have the rod in my hands to determine who's going to be Angler of the Year. So I've got a great shot at this. I'm excited. I'm really fired up about it.
It's all up to you. You don't have to worry if somebody does good or bad. All you have to do is worry about Marty.
You know, and I've said this all along. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. But I do have my destiny in my own hands. So if I go out and do my job today, this thing's over.
Okay, good luck to you. Go out there and figure them out.
Thanks, Jerry.
Conditions are vastly changed on Table Rock for day number 2 of this fishing. It is colder. It is very rainy. Some of the anglers would actually do better with their fishing today. Marty Stone had one thing on his mind: catch another limit. Live to fish on day number 3. Make the final cut to 12. Every cast, every fish counts, and that fish right there would hurt it. Here's a fish that helped an angler right here. Aaron Martin's right behind Marty Stone. Catches the fish of the tournament. Take a look at this.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That fish would put him on his way. Aaron Martins, this fish weighs 9 pounds from Table Rock. That anchors a limit of 21 pounds and 15 ounces. That fish would put Aaron Martins in the lead in the Angler of the Year race. Marty Stone, that fish did hurt him. Only 4 fish. He misses the cut by 6 ounces. Martins now with the Angler of the Year lead after day number 2. But it's not over yet. Stone definitely has still got a chance in this race. As we head into day number 3, it's Kevin Van Dam on top, Martins, Pons, Hackney in the mix as well. And a lot more of this drama to play out as we continue.
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail is brought to you by Citgo and in part by Motor Guide, Purolator, and by Triton Boats.
Yes. The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail, our final event of the regular season. Here's Aaron Martins' big fish from day number 2 of the competition that vaults him into the lead in the Angler of the Year race.
Baby. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a 9-pounder. It anchors the second largest stringer of the day, and it moves Martins into second place in the tournament. But maybe more important, he'll fish on through Saturday at least. His fate is in his hands. If he can finish in 4th place or better at Table Rock, he'll win Angler of the Year. 5th or worse, and it's Marty Stone. He finishes just out of the top 12. With 2 days of fishing left, he can only sit and watch. Day 3 and the top 12 are out under clear skies and little wind. In other words, it's tough. Van Dam gets a slow start, but eventually gets 4 in the boat. Turns out to be one of the better efforts of the day. Keeps him just 2 ounces out of the lead. As for the lead, well, when conditions are tough, they say look for the man who can get his limit every day. And the only one to do that at Table Rock is Greg Hackney. 14-13, he's your new leader. Back to Marty Stone, waiting, thinking, killing time. And as the weigh-in begins, he knows he's done if Martins has got him. But Martins has had a tough day. 2 fish, and what's on his mind is just making the cut, the top 6. Small catches come across the stage, and Marty Stone knows that each 2 or 3 fish bag helps Martins' chances. Aaron knows it too. In the end, he's got 3 pounds, 15 ounces, enough to grab the last spot and keep his hopes alive one more day. He'll fish for the win. Stone will wait for it again. Well, think about it. The final day of fishing, the last event of the regular season, the Angler of the Year race comes down to 2 guys. 2 guys left. One of them has his rod in his hand. He's fishing on the final day. The other one has to stand on the bank and watch what is going on. If you like drama and bass fishing, you've arrived. Table Rock is a place you've arrived. All 67 miles of it, a great place to do this thing.
We started this whole tour in Florida, and all we could talk about was grass. The guys fished their way all the way to Table Rock. Now we're talking about no grass, deep water, rocks, standing timber. This is a great challenge for these guys. This is different. A great place for this to all be completed.
Yeah, the perfect final stage. Before we get things started on the last day, Dan Rodland of Kansas, he's the one that won the non-boater category. That took place on day number 3, the fully rigged Triton boat, 38 grand worth, and now we are ready to go. The final showdown, day 4, the boats are underway.
We're gonna race the helicopter.
They call him the Hack Attack, the man who is our leader today. And for his great record, he's still looking for his first win on the Citgo Bassmaster Tour. We know that this morning he's headed down to Spring Creek, just a few miles down the lake. But watch out for this guy, Aaron Martins. Again, remember, he's got to jump up 2 spaces today if he wants to win the Angler of the Year race. And he makes a left turn right out of the box.
He is not racing the helicopter like that. And Aaron, boy, he doesn't even put his boat up on plane. He drops his trolling motor, and he goes right for this point, right outside the boat dock there. A great place to start. These fish are subject to be on these rocky points all up and down the lake. So he's putting his trolling motor down. He's adjusting it. He's getting everything all set. He's already got his crankbait out, but look at his rod. Tell me what happens. Oh, my goodness. This has to be your day.
Did you guys see that? I let my rod down. He took it. The keeper. When things go like that, when the fish hooks himself on a crankbait, something's going right. My goodness. Yeah. That fires me up right there. Did you see that? I put my rod down, adjust the trolling motor. Golly, man, that's crazy.
Back to our leader, Greg Hackney. Greg Hackney from Gonzales, Louisiana, 31 years old. We talk about his incredible record, 2 years on the Citgo Bassmaster Tour. So far, 17 tour events. He's been in the top 10 in 7 of those. That is unbelievable.
I don't think we can pull him.
No, I don't think you can either, Greg. And you know what? I'm tired of people saying Hackney is hot. He is not hot. In order to be hot, at one time or another, you have to be cold.
Right, yeah, good
I've
point.
never seen him cold. He's always at this great level, and he always seems to stay at that level. He maintains it by fishing very slow. Boy, what a start for him right here. Very slow, very focused. And you know what? He's so good at fishing in 3 different depths. He fishes shallow very good. He fishes 5 feet, and he fishes 10 feet. And he establishes very quickly which one of those to zero in on. Right now, he's zeroed in on about 10 or 12 feet of water.
Greg Hackney in a big battle today, just ounces away as they begin this day from Kevin Van Dam. This ought to be good. Well, could this be the one? The big day for Greg Hackney, his first win on the Citgo Bassmaster Tour. This guy's going to have something to say about that. Kevin Van Dam ready to get underway. Hackney with the lead, but today's the last day of the regular season, and no one's going to show any mercy. We'll be right back. Biggest competition day of the year so far on the Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail. Final day of fishing in the regular season. 2 men left in the Citgo Angler of the Year race. One of them, Aaron Martins, is fishing on this final day. He's got to finish 4th or better in order to win the title. So maybe one of the anglers he has to pass is this man, Jeff Reynolds.
And look at the water surface out there. It is so slick. It's going to be a tough day, especially for the guys throwing a crankbait. Jeff is throwing a little finesse worm over there in 10 or 12 feet of water on his spinning tackle, but we've still got guys, including Aaron Martin, that is trying to make that wiggle work, and it's going to be a tough deal.
This bait catches big ones. I need keepers. For the most part, this wiggle work catches good-sized fish, like 9-pounders.
9-pounders on his mind. The Aaron is throwing a little red wiggle wart, and that's always a hot lure in the springtime up in the Ozark Lakes. And his has a little belly weight in it that allows it to suspend if he quits reeling it. Right now, he is bumping it into all the rocks. And if you look closely, Tommy, you'll see that his rod is stuck way down in the water. It probably allows his bait to go, I don't know, maybe anywhere from 2 to 5 feet deeper, and that is so important.
Aaron's just across the way, literally, from Jeff Reynolds.
In fishing like I'm fishing out deeper water, light line, little finesse worm, you know, I can get some bites. And I've been able to get enough bites to catch a limit every day but yesterday. But it makes it tough on anybody trying to, you know, throw a crankbait or jerk bait. Man, it's hard to get a bite like that when it's bluebird and no wind.
We were not kidding when we said he's just across the way. Take a look at how close Aaron Martins really is to Jeff Reynolds. These guys can keep tabs on one another.
There's a fish.
Oh, he's got one. He's got a bass.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably pretty good when he's been fighting it for a while. But the little ones, they bring right up.
Oh, nice bad spot. Ah, yes, sir.
Man, don't make me go to a worm. I don't want to do that crap. He's probably throwing a little jig or a worm. I didn't think about going to a worm until at least that wind picks up a little bit.
Is that the worst thing, to be able to see what one of your competitors is doing, especially when he's successful?
I don't know. It would get on your mind maybe in a bad way, but Aaron needs to switch over to that finesse worm, and Hackney's been doing it all along.
That might be the one we're looking for right there. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. hung in the tree. God, I ain't believing that. That's big. Big old smallmouth, I know that's what it was. I just can't, you know, I can't do nothing with them. Every day they get harder to catch. When it was colder, I could have a better chance.
We'll see how quickly he can rebound for that. But how about Greg Hackney? I mean, he's standing on the verge, got the lead on the last day, winning his first Citgo Bassmaster Tour event. He's 7 pounds ahead of everyone else in the field except for one guy, and that one guy has to be Kevin Van Dam.
Kevin Van Dam. Of course, he doesn't know it right now, but he's got a little bit of a jump on him, and I want to see that big smallmouth he just lost.
That had to be a hog, huh?
That, in this situation, man, just think of what runs through these guys' minds. It's really tough under any circumstances, but you get a hold of a big smallmouth and he just wears you out. Right now, things are looking a little better.
Be another keeper there for Greg Hackney. Again, he started the day with the lead, brought in 19 pounds plus on day number 3. So he's the guy with the confidence coming into this day.
Look at there.
Look at there. When you hear Greg Hackney say that, you better watch out. It could mean some big fish are on the way. Anyway, he's the man with the lead, 3 pounds ahead of Kevin Van Dam, but we'll take a look at Kevin when we get back. There's a lot more to see here at Table Rock on the last day of the regular season. The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail. There are 6 events in the regular season for the Citgo Bassmaster Tour. This is our final event of the season. Everything comes down to this tournament. And the Angler of the Year race, the Citgo Angler of the Year race, has come down to the final day. 2 guys left in the competition for Citgo Angler of the Year. One of them, Marty Stone, hasn't made it. The other one, Aaron Martins, is fishing. He has to finish 4th or better today in order to seal the deal. But we got a great tournament race going on as we started the day just ounces apart. This man, Kevin Van Dam, and our tournament leader, Greg Hackney.
Tommy, you and I are making a big deal, and everybody is making a big deal out of these two competing against each other, but I bet they're not even thinking about it. They're both such good anglers that they're just out there trying to do their job, and Kevin's having his problems, isn't he?
Boy, we just see missed fish after short fish. It's a frustrating day so far for Kevin Van Dam.
And he's had such a great go of it, throwing his jerk bait. But again, and I'm gonna quit. It's the last time I'm gonna talk about that wind. The lack of wind right now killed his jerk bait bite, and now he had to go back to the finesse worm.
Whatever it is, it's gotten bad, really bad for Kevin Van Dam. Nothing is going right on this final day.
Easy, Pete. I can't believe I did that twice. Oh, God, I missed it. Oh. It's time to quit dinking around. Get serious about this. Oh. Sooner or later, you gotta one ought to commit suicide. Either they do or I do, one of the two.
Oh man, if Kevin can get it sorted out, we'll be back over there. Meanwhile, Aaron Martins, we saw him earlier with very limited success with that crankbait, that wiggle wart that had done so well for him so far in the tournament. He saw Jeff Reynolds across the way catching it on the light tackle, catching it with the finesse worm, so now Aaron's making a switch.
Aaron is going to put Mr. Wigglewart in the rod box right here, and Reynolds settle in on that finesse worm. And this guy is so unpredictable. He's drop shotting in 40 feet of water in one event. The next time you turn around, he's throwing a tailspin around a bridge pier. Remember that in a classic? A tailspin. Nobody fishes them anymore.
Deer hair jig.
He ordered one of those lures that advertised in the paper as being so good that they're outlawed in 7. Really? He did that. He was fishing with. He is so talented and he is so open-minded.
So I got a 16-pound dart head on now with like a little shaky head, a little mega bass jig head. Instead of 3/16 Texas Freight, I'm gonna go to 1/8 ounce. It's a real earth tone worm, like a cinnamon blue or something real mellow. It's just so clear and so calm. Aaron's Magic's almost a little bit too much right now. Kind of color a crawdad, a young crawdad, rooting around the rocks.
Aaron's kind of rigging up, sort of drop shotting right here, I guess, Tommy, but he's also using that shaky head an awful lot. Went away from the Aaron's Magic, which is a color. And right now, I believe he's put on Marty's Nightmare. Marty Stone may be thinking that anyway.
Oh. Oh. Come here, fishy, don't do that. Oh. Come on, baby, you stay on, you just stay on. Be a good fishy. Stop jumping like that. I hate dart heads. I don't like light line.
Light line hard for the fishermen, but good entertainment for us. We get to see how agile these guys are.
And light line is probably 8-pound test right now for Aaron.
Golly. Yeah. Oh, boy. Just started throwing a worm. I think the worm's the deal today. I just started worm fishing. I should have been done it earlier. I'm a worm fisherman, right? I've been throwing a wiggle worm all morning and nothing. I throw a worm, I get 2 in the last 15 minutes. Man, I can do this. This is what I grew up doing. That fish was crazy, man. He'd be all like this, and boom, he'd take off. Like, oh, man.
That's why you're angler of the year, Aaron.
I just broke the shaky hit out. I started catching him. I've only been doing it like, ah.
That's why you're gonna win it. You're still gonna win it, Aaron.
Don't tell me that. Go away. I can't worry about that. I gotta catch a limit.
David Walker with the encouragement there again. Aaron Martins, if he finishes 4th today, he wins the Angler of the Year title. Right now with that fish, he is in 4th place. Over now to Brent Chapman, our first look at him. He's thinking about this Angler of the Year race as well.
It's hard to say. It really is. You know, Aaron's doing the right thing to catch a good bag down here, and you know, it's literally all in the hands of Aaron at this point. So, and us other anglers and how we do. I'm sure making it a lot easier for Aaron at this point.
Brent Chapman, this has been a tough year so far for Brent Chapman. Coming into this event, he has not yet finished in 2005 in the top 50.
Oh, yeah,
He's going to make a top 6 here, so things are turning around for him. But for Aaron Martins, who has to finish in 4th place or better, well, what happens to Brent Chapman today has an effect on him. Aaron Martins had made it up into 4th place. If it were to finish right now,
Fine.
he'd have the Angler of the Year title, but Brent Chapman just tied him right there, so they're both tied for 4th place. A lot of things left to be decided. More fishing on the way. We'll be right back.
The Citgo Bass Insider.
When you think of the Citgo Bassmaster Tour, you conjure up images of professionals holding up gargantuan-sized largemouth. But lately, the other 2 species of black bass have been playing a prominent role in Bassmaster competition. This week, spotted bass and smallmouth are making an appearance on one of the only lakes the tour has visited this season with all 3 species. An estimated 60% of the fish weighed in at this event were spots, while another 20% were smallmouth. And those smallmouth were the driving force behind getting Greg Hackney into the final round.
The Bass Insider has been brought to you by Citgo.
Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail. This is a big day for us, probably the biggest of the year so far. The final day of fishing in the regular season. Our Citgo Angler of the Year race has come down to 2 anglers. One of them is sitting on the bank. That's Marty Stone. One of them is fishing in the final 6 on this last day of the tournament. Aaron Martins, he's got to finish 4th or better in order to claim the title. But while we were away, this man, Pete Pons, caught a fish. So did Brent Chapman. So Aaron Martins right now sits in 5th place. He's got more work to do. Pete Pons of Mississippi, well, he's had one of those tough seasons too. He hasn't finished 50th place or better so far this year. So he's having his best tournament by far here at Table Rock.
Oh, tough year, all right, but get this, Tommy. First day of qualifying, he goes out and on his 2nd cast, the 2nd cast of the tournament, throwing a jerkbait just like he's throwing right here.
There he is, boys.
Pete catches a 6-pound, 12-ounce smallmouth. Tommy, I'd have loaded up and went home. That was good enough. That would have been good enough for me.
He's gonna be, no, he might go.
Pete Pons, 45 years old, from Madison, Mississippi. Pete's dad, Bob Pons, was one of the original competitors in the first Classic. As a matter of fact, he finished 13th in that historic tournament.
That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just get a feeling. I mean, that's what it's all about right there.
Pete Pond's back over to our tournament leader, Greg Hackney. Again, he's looking for his first ever tour win.
This is not my body of water. You know, I mean, it don't even resemble anything that I normally do well. You know, I mean, you can't get any more finesse, or I can't get any more finesse than what I'm doing right now. I'm a power fisherman, you know, I mean, I like big stuff, but had decent finishes the last 2 tournaments, but I'm definitely not fishing my strength. It's been really good, you know, I've been fortunate. I've done well on the spinning rod 2 tournaments in a row, so I can't complain regardless, and it put me in next year's Classic, so, I mean, that was the whole deal at this tournament. And of course, that's always the way it is. You know, I started out with my one objective coming into this tournament was to make next year's Classic. You know, so that's the deal. That's what I want to do. And, well, here I am trying to win a tournament, you know. As long as they're 15, we'll take them.
Greg Hackney came into this event among these top 6 here with the best batting average. Greg Hackney, his stick is working for him today very well. He's got a good lead over Kevin Van Dam. Meanwhile, Aaron Martins has to pass Brent Chapman if he wants to make it into 4th place, win the Angler of the Year title. Chapman ain't letting up.
He's not letting up at all, Tommy. And you know what? We hadn't seen a lot from Brett. Hadn't seen Pete Pons a whole lot, or even Jeff Reynolds. But get this, we haven't seen Kevin Van Dam.
No.
He has got a big goose egg right now. No way that can continue. Kevin has got to catch some fish.
Another nice smallmouth. Not as big as I thought, but he'll keep.
These 4-day tournaments, I won 1 days, 2 days, and 3 days, and I haven't been able to win a 4-day. You know, I know when I started, I didn't have a clue how to fish a 4-day tournament. I might catch a big bag the first day and then just zip. I didn't know how to practice for it, you know, where you have something for 4 days. You know, and try to cover more water and figure out a pattern, you know. That's another thing. Up till last year, I probably didn't even have a clue what a pattern was. You know, how to run a stretch of bank that was good and then find the other part, you know, other places in the lake just like it. And I mean, just last year, I'm like, man, that's a pattern. You know, it's just like overnight, that just kind of clicked, and it shocked me. I mean, you know, I was like, whoa, I'm gonna be lethal now. You know, I done learned something new, and all these other guys out here been doing that for 20 years, you know, and I didn't know, you know. I don't know, I just have to really give the ones credit that have won one of these 4-day events. I mean, these are the toughest tournaments that there are to win. And the guys that have won multiple times, I mean, for me, that's unbelievable because I don't know how you win the first one. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Keeper. That's about it.
Man, that bite is so light, man. It's like you can't even tell. Oh, I like this. I miss this fishing, man. This is getting me fired up here. The wiggle work's really fun, but this is different. I haven't done it in a while, so I get fired up quick.
Well, once again, and we can't stress this enough, Aaron Martin started in 6th place today. In order to get the Angler of the Year title, he's got to finish no worse than 4th. Right now, he is in 5th place, but he has made one major change. He switched to the spinning tackle.
I'm surprised he didn't switch a little bit before this because he is great with spinning tackle. And during qualifying days, early in the tournament, we had a lot of wind, and so the guys were really competing well with crankbaits and jerkbaits. But with wind is such an important thing there. When it slicks off like it is now, you have to start downsizing and fishing finesse equipment, and that requires using spinning tackle. Now, think about this, Tommy. So much on the line out there. Angler of the Year, winning this actual event. And the guys are out there with these little bitty nothing worms.
It looks like it fell off another lure.
That's right. This is Aaron's little robo worm, and this is Hackney's Strike King finesse worm. We probably got a nickel's worth of bait right there. Of course, you put a very light head on them, and you start working them down in those rocks very slowly. And again, the reaction strike almost it almost makes a fish mad and makes him want to get it out of there. This little bait has got crawfish written all over it. A fish is going to go pick that up because he thinks it's something to eat. Spin and tackle, light line, work it real slow.
Well, I tell you what, this is going to blow your mind, Jerry. For Aaron Martin's a guy who loves to drop shot more than anything. He got out here on the lake today without his light stuff. Most of it, anyway.
Man, I know how I can really tear these fish up, but I'm not prepared for it. But I got things at the motorhome that, all these fish are getting deep doo-doo.
Well, they say it and they say it again, and we're probably tired of it, but they say when conditions are tough, get your limit. This fish right here, Aaron Martin's, is going to have a limit, and look what it has done for him. Aaron Martin's moves into a tie for second. He is looking super good to get that Angler of the Year title. Greg Hackney looking good to get his first ever tour win. We'll be back to wrap this thing up when we return. How do you win the Citgo Angler of the Year race? You might try this, catch a 9-pounder. That's what Aaron Martin's did on day 2 of this final tournament of the 2005 season. That fish helped him to fish on the final day. He's in the Super 6. On the last day, one of 2 anglers left in the Angler of the Year competition. Aaron Martin's had to finish 4th or better, and so far he's gone a long way toward achieving that goal today. Another one of our Super 6 right here, Jeff Reynolds of Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh, that sucker's plumb out here. That's a good one too. No. Oh. Man, what am I going to do? Show no mercy. Stay home, baby. Man, it'd sure be nice if you could get out of your boat.
With all the things going on today, that catch there may be overshadowed. That was one heck of a catch, Jeff. I am proud of you back there in that boat dock under that apparatus that raises the boats up and down. That was a tough catch. And now we're going to take a look at possibly the Angler of the Year. What a feat that is.
Man, if I was doing this all day, I'd probably like 15, 16 pounds right now. Oh. And then yesterday, I probably had 12 or 13. I can't believe I didn't do this yesterday. Hello? Hello, Aaron, Earth Aaron. All you gotta do is go out with a shaky head and shake it. They've been biting all morning on the worm, but the wiggle wort's been, they got 1 fish on it first thing.
What a hero.
I'm excited. You know, second's good, but I don't want second again. Damn it. You know, second.
The seconds that Aaron Martin is talking about. Aaron has fished in 5 classics, and he has finished second 2 times, a source of great frustration to him. But today, he's looking like he may just seal the deal.
He may do it. And in spite of the fact that we've talked only about him and Marty Stone as the contenders for the Angler of the Year race, which they were, there was some heavy-duty guys in that race. Skeet Reese, Terry Scroggins, Iconelli, Clun. That was a heck of an Angler of the Year race.
We started out today our tournament race with Greg Hackney and Kevin Van Dam just ounces apart. They pulled away from the rest of the field, but Kevin Van Dam has had a horrible, horrible day. So far, he's not got a keeper in the boat. Greg Hackney is now looking for his final 5th fish.
How'd you like to have a lot of money on the fact that Kevin would not catch a fish today?
There he is. Oh, it's big. Oh, don't come off. Oh, he barely hooked.
That's number 5.
Going to be the only man to catch 5 fish all 4 days of this tournament. Greg Hackney is dominating. Now to Aaron Martins, who's out there with his new fan club.
Come on, Span, one more. I'm catching them, but they're no big ones. Come on, bro. Jerk on. Man, why do I have to have so much at stake? It has to be such a close deal. I mean, is it for a reason or what?
That's Aaron Martins.
I need like a 5-pounder.
Aaron be jerking on is what he's doing out there.
I hate saying that, 'cause I'm always right. It stinks. Oh.
I think he's got some fish.
Oh my God, it's a big one.
I don't know what else he's got to go with it, but he's gonna have a limit.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm gonna have a hard time sitting next to Marty because I can't say a word right now. It's hard to say what everybody else is gonna have, but I think there's a good possibility Aaron's gonna move up a couple places.
Oh.
That's cool. I got to see at least catch one.
Oh man, that's what I needed. That helps. Oh boy. Yeah.
You could tell he wasn't confident. He had nothing to coal with. He had a measuring board, but no balance beam, no coal pins.
I didn't bring my board. I didn't bring my column stuff.
He's in there measuring them, going look like this. Which one?
Oh.
Smile, Aaron.
Oh. God, man.
Aaron Martins and Greg Hackney both started their day locked in a tight race on this final day of the year. Both guys have done their job. Both guys have cinched the win. The thing is, they don't have a clue how the others have done.
I fished good 2 out of the 4 days. I didn't fish good the first day. I fished good the second day. I fished good the third day. I didn't fish good today. You know, I just never felt like I was just dialed in, you know.
Do I have any butterflies? A little bit. Of course. Even if I had 15 pounds, I'd have some butterflies.
You know, I really hoped it, they caught them really good, so that fish didn't cost me. Because I've had that, just trouble in the past, you know, that one bite cost me the tournament. And I'm sick of that.
Man, if I don't get into the year, it's all right. I didn't come into this tournament expecting it anyways. I wanted to win the tournament, though.
I just don't think it'll be enough. I mean, you know, I was fishing against the best fishermen in the country, and I know that, you know. I would like to put it on him, you know. I had that on my mind, but, you know. But I still, you know, I fished hard, you know, I do know that. But it's just hard for me to impress myself. I seldom ever do that, you know.
It's go time. Almost time for the weigh-in, and all the good seats have been taken for some time now, as you can imagine. This crowd wants to know who's going to win Citgo Angler of the Year, who's going to win the shootout between Hackney and Van Dam. They are stoked. We'll sort it out when we come back.
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail is brought to you by Lowrance and in part by Toyota and Mercury Marine. Anheuser-Busch.
The last cast of the last event of the regular season is done. Aaron Martins started the day in 6th place, behind Marty Stone in the Angler of the Year race. But if he could fish his way into 4th or better, he'd take the title. He's gotten his limit, but it all depends on what the other anglers have done. Marty Stone did not have a rod in his hand today. He barely missed the cut on day 2, so he can only wait for the drama to play out.
Last day of the tournament, Aaron's fishing, I'm not. I have no control over my destiny. Yesterday, I was pretty cool with that. Today, I just want this thing to be over with. It's killing me. Win, lose, or draw, let's finish it.
As for the tournament, the final day started out with Greg Hackney and Kevin Van Dam just ounces apart, but 7 pounds ahead of the rest of the field. A dream matchup between the two most feared anglers in the game today. A matchup that went south for Kevin Van Dam, who has failed to boat a keeper fish. Greg Hackney has caught a limit on the 4th straight day, but he has no idea what Kevin has done today. and that he stands on the verge of backing up his incredible record over the past 2 years with his first tour win. 6 anglers wait with their fish in black bags so that no one knows anything until they hit the scales. On the stage, they bring up Marty Stone. He's still the Angler of the Year points leader and will be unless Aaron Martens can jump up 2 spots on the leaderboard. Backstage, Martens is ready to go to set the weight, but insists he's not thinking too hard about the Angler of the Year. Nervously, he tries to keep on the subject of the bite today.
I knew it was there, but I didn't think about it. I thought about catching fish.
They call him out. He almost shot himself out of the tournament and the race on day 3, but he made the right calls, got the right fish today. A limit of 12 pounds, 11 ounces. And Marty Stone can hear the train getting ready to leave the station. But nothing's official yet. Next, it's Jeff Reynolds, who started and finished his season in great form.
He's got 8 pounds and 13 ounces of quality catch.
Jeff Reynolds' 4 fish fall behind Aaron Martens. 1 down and 1 to go for Citgo Angler of the Year. Pete Pons is next.
It's hard to believe a guy at the bottom of the list on this thing has got an effect on the top of the list, isn't it?
Let's go ahead and see what the weight is. 5 pounds and 15 ounces. That puts Pete Pons solidly in 5th place, ladies and gentlemen. And that, right here, my friends, makes
Aaron Martens will finish at least 4th. And for 2005, he's the man.
Congratulations, Aaron. $100,000 bonus coming your way and a big old trophy. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Let's hear it one more time. Aaron Martens, the 2005 Citgo Angler of the Year, gets the job done.
Let me explain something about this man here. Since he's going to be the Angler of the Year, I can have a little fun with this now the weight's been taken off my shoulders. A lot of people are like, man, how do you understand this guy? Because he's from the West Coast. Let me tell y'all a little secret. You take every time he says dude, you ignore it. Every time he says man, you ignore it. And you listen for every word in between there. And this young man here will make a lot of sense because he's a world-class fisherman.
Hey, thank you, Marty. Kind words. Let's hear it one more time. Hold it up high, brother. You earned it. This is your moment. Missouri, let him have it. Give him the mayhem. Aaron Martens, the 2005 Citgo Angler of the Year. How much does this title mean to you?
Oh, it hasn't said it yet. I still can't believe it. I came into this tournament not really thinking I had a chance. And, you know, after yesterday, I was a little worried. After today, I was a little worried. So I picked up that little spinning rod, and I just still hasn't said it. I can't believe I won it. It means a lot to me.
There's still a tournament to decide, and nobody's leaving when it's down to Van Dam and Hackney. Out of earshot from Greg Hackney, Van Dam speaks quietly of his disappointment.
It's not the way I really wanted to finish my tour season, but it's not that I didn't try and work hard at it. I can tell you, it's just one of those days.
As Van Dam takes his bag to the stage, Hackney moves into the next position, still not knowing.
Check this out. Only needs 2 pounds and 13 ounces to get to the top of the leaderboard. He's reaching, and he's splashing water. What's up with that, Van Dam? Greatest angler debate, zeros.
For a moment, it's just about too much.
The littlest ones I caught all week, he's got 4. If I just had one decent one, you know I'd have a chance.
Greg knows he's got it, but Van Dam's zero gets Aaron Martens' attention. One more of those, and he's a double winner today.
Greg Hackney, 211 to take the lead, 10 pounds even, and the Hack Attack moves to the top of the food chain. Greg Hackney.
So for the man who grew up fishing on the Arkansas River, went on to Rookie of the Year last year. Now the first tour win to go with his amazing record of high finishes.
One more time, Greg Hackney waiting for this one all year long. Oh yeah. Your first tour win in 2 seasons, what's it mean to you?
It was unreal. When Kevin didn't weigh in any fish, I couldn't hardly breathe. I kind of got upset, you know, and I took a couple deep breaths before I weighed in, so I'm over it now, and I know what's going to happen. Just as soon as I get away from all this, it's going to hit me again.
Well, congratulations, man. You got a bright future ahead of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Greg Hackney, your Table Rock Citgo Bassmaster champion.
Oh, bass fishing fans, if you want to look at 2 of the guys who are going to be a couple of the major players in the sport for the next, 30 years, take a picture right here, Greg Hackney and Aaron Martens.
And I've got bad news for the competitors. Hackney has figured out how to win a 4-day tournament.
Ooh, that is bad news.
And I think Aaron Martin is the most unpredictable angler out there. So Both these guys could stay on top as long as they want to.
Aaron Martin, the Citgo Angler of the Year winner. All those guys in that race. Hey, the top three especially. Marty Stone, Terry Scroggins, awesome job this year. Great job all year long. We had a lot of winners this week at Table Rock. Let's start with our Toyota Horizon Award. Last year, Gary Yamamoto finished in 151st place. He improves all the way to 36. That wins him the Toyota Horizon Award for this year. The Toyota Rookie of the Year, you got to respect Dave Wolak, Warrior Run, PA. In the last three tournaments of this season, he has finished no worse than 13th place. That is super strong. In the Bush Shootout, one entry from Table Rock Lake, Brent Chapman, day 2, 22 pounds and 5 ounces. Peter T., the bubble man in that race, Morzo Shimizu, still on top with 30 pounds and 5 ounces. And next time we come up here, we're going to be at the Elite 50 on Smith Lake in Alabama.
Smith Lake. You know, we had some good spotted bass caught here at Table Rock. Smith Lake will produce one or two that'll eat these spotted bass up there. That big.
All right, the Elite 50 field, by the way, is set for more. Tune in to Bass Center coming up next. They will break down that entire field for you in detail. Before we go, our Purelator Big Bass of the Week. This gal right here, 9 pounds even for Aaron Martins. I don't know if that's the one that did it, but he couldn't have done it without her. Aaron Martins, your Angler of the Year. We'll see you next time from Smith Lake when we start the E50s.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to Bassmaster.com.
Greg Hackney waiting for this one all year long.